back. Let's get straight into the panel now. Joining me is Sky News host Caroline De Russo and Sky News contributor Evelyn Ray. Hi to both of you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening. Let's start with the Australia Day debate and this very strange comment by Labor MP Daniel Mulino on Sharry last night.
Australia Day has evolved further, and it is fair to say that it has become somewhat controversial in parts of our community. And I think we're in an interesting transition at the moment with Australia Day. I think as a country, we are going through a process where different parts of our community are wanting to treat Australia Day differently. I don't know what the endpoint's going to be. What I'd say is there's no single rule here.
Oh, please. Caroline, he claims Australia is in a transition when it comes to Australia Day. What does this tell you?
Well, that there was him not actually really wanting to say anything. He's like, let me just talk for a few minutes and let me say some words without pinning my colours to the mast anywhere in particular, and hopefully no one notices. Of course, things change all the time. I don't think there's ever been one particular way that Australians celebrate Australia Day. But what I do know is that we have definitely, and Daniel Mulino is maybe a little slow to the take, but plenty of other people who have been very fervent in attacking Australia Day previously, post the Voice referendum, have ameliorated their comments. Let's just put it that way. We don't want to have this argument. We just don't want to talk about it. People just want to get on with it. People have got much more important things to worry about in their lives than have an argument over Australia Day. I think the other thing that people have realised, Danica, is that changing the date is actually going to not make any difference. People with a grievance will still have a grievance regardless of what you do to try and make whatever situation it is better. So I think the best thing is we all just get on and celebrate January 26th and let the haters hate.
I completely agree with you. And interestingly, Peter Dutton says today those in charge of businesses who are choosing to boycott Australia Day celebrations should reconsider which country they choose to live in. This is what he said.
Again, if they're embarrassed by our country, then don't live here. And let's be proud again of who we are. And we must live under one flag. I mean, this shouldn't be controversial either. If we are asking people to live under different flags, how can we be united as a nation?
Evelyn, is he right?
Yeah, look, nobody has to blindly support everything that their country does or has historically done. But what we are talking about here is throwing disproportionate and dishonest shade and shame on the ancestors of the majority of Australians, those who built this nation into what it is today, the benefits of which we still all enjoy, including the haters. So in that sense, he's absolutely correct. Although, considering what recently happened to Pauline Hanson, I'm not sure we're allowed to say it out loud anymore, but honestly, he's just saying what every Australian who loves this country is thinking. And this is a fantastic saying that I once heard, and it's very simple, and it's exactly what we should all be doing. You either love the country you live in, or you live in the country you love. Full stop.
Spot on. I mean, that is perfectly summarised. You're right. In the end, you should be proud if you live here. Why not be proud, and why not feel ashamed to show it? I completely agree. Now, look, let's talk about this next topic. It's been revealed taxpayers forked out close to $20,000 for lavish flower displays and $44,000 for Jessica Mauboy to sing at an exclusive event where the Prime Minister wined and dined world leaders. This was for the ASEAN Australia Special Summit at the National Gallery of Victoria back in March. Caroline, $20,000 on flowers alone. Does Labor know we're in a cost of living crisis? What's your take?
Well, we are in a cost of living crisis, but unfortunately flowers aren't cheap. Flowers are most definitely not cheap. So we talk about $20,000 as being huge, and it is a huge amount of money. Look, there are certain things that our government does and should do. And look, if it's ASEAN and you're entertaining world leaders, that I understand. I mean, the French state dinner when the King and Queen went to visit was $500,000, I think. So I think that, that 60 grand, it's a lot of money, but in comparison, it's really not too bad. But really, we shouldn't be focusing on these things, Danica. We should be focusing on the millions and the billions of taxpayers' dollars that are wasted every other day by government, because that's actually where you make big changes. You make big changes where you deliver more value to the taxpayer. So yeah, it is a little bit off. I understand we need to entertain foreign guests. I have no difficulty in that sense. They're things that we do. But let's talk about the big numbers.
No, look, I understand that argument. And look, speaking of cost of living, off the back of the worst GDP result in 50 years, we're in a household recession. People can't pay their bills. But Albo's priority of the day today was to share his Spotify rap playlist. Have a look at this. He posted this to X with his top songs of the year. There they are. Half of them I haven't even heard of. And then to spend some time making a mock-up of Peter Dutton's playlist as well, making a mockery of Dutton's year. No, it says. Evelyn, people can't even pay their bills at the moment, let alone spend money every month paying for a Spotify music service. How tone deaf is this post?
Yeah, look, I think most politicians these days need to learn how to read the room. They are so disconnected from the Australian public. It's insane. But, it's all bread and circuses, only this time we can't afford the bread and the clowns are painfully unfunny and they can't meme. Look, they're not taking it seriously, which is why they keep throwing distractions in the mix. The misinformation bill, banning kids from social media, and now Spotify raps. It's all an illusion to make the Australian people think that they're really busy and that they're getting things done. But, thankfully, I don't think the public are buying it anymore, because they're the ones who are struggling under the weight of the bloated and incompetent political class.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such distraction.